Danny, do you still believe the Bears can win this game?
Of course they can.
Thank you. That's what I've been saying.
We don't.
What are you talking about?
I can't speak for the entire city of Chicago and all Bears fans, but allow me to. We don't want your support.
What?
Wow.
Because you don't actually support.
You're doing it for a game, for the upset alert points, for the spread. You don't like Caleb.
There's
and
4
really,
games.
Can I tell you something?
You don't like Caleb.
It's not even for the upset alert points. It's a hedge against wrongness Monday.
No.
It's so if the Bears win, he doesn't have to eat it because he has not believed in Caleb.
It
and
is a home
underdog with less genuine.
They have not fared well.
I didn't buy it for a second. Of course I believe it. You think I'm gonna doubt this team and abandon them now?
You do not sound confident.
You better have some
body
data.
language,
I got data.
all that. I mean, I'm giving you time, but you don't look confident in the least bit.
Did I look confident?
No.
I did though, right?
You didn't sound confident.
Not really.
Brew,
But
why would I doubt this coach, this quarterback, the cold? You want me to do the 40th anniversary of the Super Bowl Shuffle that came out this week? The first game they played after the Super Bowl Shuffle? The Rams shut them out in the NFC Championship game, no big deal. But why am I supposed to fear the Rams?
the question gave you some leeway. And I guess we waiting until he makes his picks? Because the question was, can they beat the Rams? Okay, yeah, they can.
Oh.
Okay?
Will
they?
Yes.
You know, okay, I'm going to believe your words. And your body language, not that I'm an expert, but you just don't see.
Can I tell
maybe
you?
it's that little smirk on your face.
He was smirking through. I was the whole show. The whole story all of a sudden this week is like, oh man, Ben Johnson. He's really ruffled some feathers. How soft is everybody? It's absurd. Oh my God, he's upset the Sean McVay coaching tree. So Zach Taylor's not going to send him a Christmas card. So he can't play Wordle with Kevin O'Connell. Let me tell you about Ben Johnson against Sean McVay. Forget his bush or his tree or whatever it is. Undefeated. Ben Johnson's played Sean McVay twice. Not a problem. Now he was the offensive coordinator of the Lions, but no one here loves the Lions either. Yeah. Ben Johnson is his own maniacal, crazy person, offensive brilliance, play caller, and all that. So yeah, of course I believe, and then I can talk negatively about the Rams too, but Ben Johnson's not afraid.
So I agree Ben Johnson's not afraid. I do think the coaching tree stuff might be overrated. The fact that Matt LaFleur's brother is the offensive coordinator for the Rams. Here's the only way I think that actually impacts it, and it's in a way you won't care about anyway. If this game is out of hand, I could see McVay and LaFleur trying to do a little Ben Johnson stuff to Ben Johnson, but who cares? A playoff loss is a playoff loss no matter what it is. The reason I don't believe the Bears will win this game, I would be... This, to me, would be the biggest upset of the weekend.
Bigger than San Francisco?
Yes, because I think if San Francisco, we know how San Francisco wins. Darnold goes straight pumpkin. Like that's they lose. Like that is the most obvious path. The reason this to me. And I am not beloved in Chicago like Danny, but Chicago doesn't dislike me. I've been a Caleb guy. I think they're coming around on Jackson Blade personally.
He has universal approval.
I think that what we saw Jordan Love in the first half doing to the Bears defense, Matt Stafford and Puka and Devontae Adams, Devontae now knocked the rust off in the last game. They are going to be able to do that throughout the game. Whatever concerns, I know Ben Johnson tried to project going for a 4th and 4 on their own 32 in the first half or maybe it was a 4th and 2, whatever it was as utmost confidence. It was, I don't know if we can stop these guys, so we got to go get points. And credit to Dennis Allen and that Bears defense for what they did in the second half. Sure. Yeah. But I think the Rams are going to score at least 35. And so even if Caleb is awesome, I don't think the Rams defense is all of a sudden awful. I know they haven't, the numbers are not good over the last couple months, but it's the same personnel where the numbers were awesome the first 2 months. It's not like they lost to Micah Parsons and that's why they have fallen off. I just don't think that that the Bears are going to be able to slow down the Rams at all. So that's why I don't think they're going to win, Brew.
Yeah, I think the Bears could win. I won't be like totally shocked if they do, but yeah, I'm going with the Rams too. I just think a lot of what Nick said, Danny, I don't know how they're going to stop that Rams offense. Now, maybe the weather will be a factor. I don't think it will for Stafford. He played in that division for most of his career. He's been in Chicago, been in Green Bay, and last year he was great in that snow game. So I think he'll be fine. I think the receivers will as well. Obviously, Devontae Adams played in Green Bay. So I just think it's going to – and look, here's where I would worry if I'm the Rams over the course of the game. If the Rams get out to a 2-touchdown lead, which I could see happening.
Bears got it right where they want them.
And but seriously, if the Bears start walking them down in the fourth quarter, kind of like they've been doing all these, then I would start to worry because I think it gets mental for both teams in that case because the Bears will feel really good about their chances, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams inside are thinking, man, what is this happening to us now?
Listen,
so,
I'm glad you guys, the question wasn't like guarantee it, because I'm not guaranteeing it because I saw, a little bit coward, but I saw what all of you saw. The Bears defense is not good. Yeah. Jordan Love torched them for a half. I am a realist enough about the Bears defense that I looked this up. 505 could be in jeopardy. The record for most passing yards in a playoff game. Oh, Brady in the Super Bowl and that loss to the Eagles.
Not in the cold.
Well, can I tell you something about the cold?
I don't think Stafford's going to be impacted by it. The cold, I think, could impact the Rams' special teams, which has been awful. They fired their special teams coach after Week 16. They've had blocked kicks in 3 of their 5 losses.
Special teams been bad for them.
They had a blocked punt last week in the win against Carolina. So that's where I see the weather coming in.
Yeah, listen, I think because of the Bears' tendency to come back, it might be force McVay out of some of his worst tendencies, which is get a lead, get conservative, lose the lead. He might feel like we just have to keep scoring points. As far as the weather, I don't, if there's not going to be precipitation and if the wind isn't going to be crazy, Kyron Williams went to Notre Dame, Blake Corum went to Michigan, Devontae Adams played at Green Bay, Matt Stafford played for a decade in Detroit and road games, Green Bay and Chicago, and Puka went to BYU. These guys have played in all of the Rams skill position guys are used to playing in the cold, even though the Rams don't play in the cold. So I'm not worried about the weather playing a big factor in this game personally.
The Rams will give up a lead, though.
And their defense is not very good.
They'll give it up.
The defense we have seen the defense be excellent. That's the difference. The Bears defense, I know, but we know the Bears defense.
I would say it's better than the Bears defense.
And so I just, to me, I don't know. I have more trust in the Rams defense than Bears defense.
Josh Allen looking to get back to the AFC Championship game. Broncos standing in his way. All right, so that's very complimentary. But what happens if Josh Allen loses, Danny?
He gets a new coach?
No.
No way. Really?
Really?
That's amazing.
We would obviously ask the question.
I'm interested in that.
I think it's on the board.
If Josh Allen has a great playoff game, which if it's a playoff game, Josh Allen almost exclusively plays great in playoff games, so I assume he will, and that means they lose a game because Josh Allen scores 31 or 30-plus, and they lose because Sean McDermott's defense lets them down, and we say, man, Josh Allen did it again, but let down by this defense. You don't think we're asking a question about Sean McDermott on Monday?
That's a very the scenario you painted is very different than just the generic loss.
But that's
losing.
That's the way that they lose. Josh Allen, I know you will point to instances where he did not get it done, but man, he is.
I mean, they haven't lost a playoff. He has 5 career playoff losses. 1, they've scored 30. So like the 13 seconds game, you're describing like they lost when they lost to the Bengals in the divisional round. They scored 10.
Yep.
They scored 24 in the loss to the Chiefs 2 years ago. They scored 28 or 27 in the So I guess I'm not shocked by if they lose to Bo Nix 35-32. Yeah, I'm going to be pissed at the defensive head coach. But that's the only scenario I would see where we are saying McDermott's on the hot seat. Like McDermott could be fired next week.
Their defense has been the weak point of the team. He's a defensive head coach. And if we talked about them the Ravens underachieving playoff expectations, and at some point it was time to go to try to salvage some of Lamar's prime. I don't know why we would not apply the same logic to Josh Allen's prime if he gets let down by his defensive head coach.
I would not be as definitive as I was on Harbaugh, like they need to get rid of Harbaugh, but I think you make a lot of sense. I mean, a few years ago I was saying I think McDermott should be on the hot seat if they can't get over the hump. And if they lose this, Nick, I think in the grand scheme, like we and people will point to if Josh loses this game years from now, like he couldn't get it done when Mahomes and Lamar and Burrow were out of the playoffs. This was his best chance and they didn't do it. But I think in the moment, if he plays well, obviously I don't think you can kill him. Like if he goes Superman mode, like you said, and then they lose a shootout, you can't kill him. If he loses the game, he is up and down, as you've said famously. And if he just goes out and has a pedestrian game, which I can't see happening, but if he does, I guess you can rip him. But I think McDermott's going to be the first one on the firing line.
Wow.
Listen,
Like I think people are going to blame McDermott before they blame Josh.
Well,
Do you think there's a lot on this line reputationally for Josh Allen in this game?
Well, I think the missed opportunity is what's on the line.
Yeah,
The
but I
fact
don't know
that
that his
he is-
reputation takes a huge hit.
but it's the. I think,
You can say, okay, he's not Mahomes. We feel that way anyway.
I honestly think his reputation, he's not quite bulletproof, but it's close. Like it takes a lot for his reputation to take a hit. Mm-hmm. But this is a great opportunity for his reputation to get the only boost it can get. Like no other quarterback in league history has won 6 playoff games and not made a Super Bowl. He has now won 8 playoff games. Like this moment right now is important for him. The McDermott's, it's very odd to me. When it comes to Josh Allen having not made a Super Bowl, we're like, man, what are you going to do? You can't get past Mahomes. Sean McDermott's defense has been excellent in the postseason, except for when they have played Patrick Mahomes. Like that, to me, McDermott has as big of his defense was good in that Jags game. They confused Trevor. His defense was good in the Ravens game when they beat them. Like the
Cincinnati loss.
The Cincinnati loss, Josh
in the
was
snow.
awful.
Josh was terrible.
And they
gave
lost
up
27 to
27 in the
10.
snow.
Like that was bad on both sides of it. They have a playoff win 17-3 that over the Ravens years ago. That kind of offsets the playoff loss 36-33 to the Chiefs. Like
I just would be
But
very
it would
surprised
just be,
if this is a
there
low.
time for a new voice. I mean,
Yeah.
after so many years of not getting it done, again, okay, Mahomes was in the way. He's not this year, and the coach still couldn't get it done.
It would just really surprise me if this was like a low-scoring, grinded-out game. Like I don't think Buffalo's defense is very good, and Denver's at home. They're rested.
Wow. So you expect Denver to put up a ton of
I think
points?
Denver's going to score points. Absolutely.
So
I think Denver scores points.
Listen, I think the Bills are going to win, and I think the Bills are going to impose their will on Denver. If we are here talking about a Bills loss, I think it is far more likely they lose a game that is in the teens than a game where it's high 20s, low 30s. Like I think that the more likely path for a Denver victory is this defense gets to the level it was the first couple months of the year and does to Josh similarly to what Houston did to Josh a month or so ago than it is Bo Nix, and Denver score 30 points. If they score 30 and Josh plays great and they lose, I could be with you. Otherwise, I would be stunned.
Saturday at 4:30, Bills in Denver. Right now, a good bounce back from Mr. Parkins.
Was
Rough
it?
ending to the season, but Parkins picks bounce back in a major way, and he's ready to keep his hot streak going. Yeah. It's time now for a divisional round episode of Parkins Picks. I'm excited for this one.
You should be, Wilds, because everyone knew the regular season was an aberration. 4-2. Got right back in there. Got a lead. Solid. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That's all gamblers know that. You're playing the sample size game. Comfortably back up above 500 for the season. 66%. Right what the chain says.
66%.
Yeah, went 4-2.
Oh, for the one weekend.
I'm sorry. Do you need me to check the math?
That's good.
66 2/3%. Wilds, hold on. Just checking your math.
Got it?
I get the same. But more importantly, Why is the crown back out here, Nick? Because, I mean,
This is not how it's done.
well, you won the regular season. Congratulations. I'm winning in the
There's
playoffs,
no
and now
overall.
I'm back winning overall to be the FTF Picks King. I'm sorry, is that not something
You
that's
lost.
possible?
It's
I know,
not.
but
You
I just-
lost.
but
It's over.
Who has more wins? Who has
It's-
more wins? Wilds? Is 31 or 30
the
higher?
only
I'm
issue
curious.
I have is with the graphic, the overall should be larger. And like you said, playoffs is really what matters.
Yeah, you said that you add extra emphasis for legacy and all that on
Caleb
playoffs.
could be like have the 22nd
Yeah,
best
the
passer
weight
rating,
of
but if
the
he
playoffs.
wins
Weight of the playoffs.
Can I,
You
you're
said
like,
it
can I,
Thank
yourself.
you.
Can I
He's
tell you
better
guys
than the
something?
number
Thank you very
one
much.
guy.
Thank
Before
you.
you make your
Yeah,
dumb
that's a
picks,
good
can I
point.
tell you guys something?
Correct.
While that is actually 100% correct for the players, I would argue for this competition, playoffs actually matter far less because during the regular season, we look at the whole league and we're like, here are our favorite picks. For the playoffs, we just have to pick every single game. And that's why the championship is determined in the regular season, like the
Regular
Premier League.
season.
The crown has the potential to live on. To the picks. We're picking every game, if you don't mind.
Really good.
The Bills.
This one you got
plus
correct.
1.5. You and I are aligned. And here's the thing. Is it going to be high scoring? Is it going to be low scoring? Are the Bills going to give up a ton on the ground? I don't really know. I can't see the future.
Sweet analysis.
But it doesn't matter.
Can't see the future.
Because Josh Allen, I can't see the future. Josh Allen is great in every scenario for the Bills this year. Eventually, though, so it doesn't matter. If they allow 30 or more points, Josh Allen is 4-1. 19 touchdowns, 4 turnovers. If they allow over 150 yards on the ground, he's 6-2, 23 touchdowns against 7 picks. If their running back gets completely abandoned and Denver's defense dominates, still has a winning record. That was the scenario last week against Jacksonville. Josh Allen will figure out a way to win. Bills plus 1.5. To the next game, Seattle -7 against San Francisco.
Opposite here.
We're opposite here. It's just too much. It's too much for San Francisco to be as injured as they are against a team as healthy as they are in Seattle that is rested, coming off a bye when they just had to go all the way to Philadelphia and then go back to Seattle on a short week. Seattle against playoff teams, they have been the best team in football by far across the board. If they're playing a great team, they are dominant. They hold opponents to playoff opponents to 17 points per game, even better than the Houston Texans. Wilds game. I'm on the side of the New England Patriots -3 against Houston. And here's the thing. This was the game that I had the hardest time with this week, and I think the formula is actually pretty similar for both. It's a race to 20. Both of these teams, if they score above 20 points, are basically unbeaten. Texans undefeated, like we've been talking about. Patriots, though, also 14-1, most wins this season. Their defense a little underrated relative to the Texans. I just trust Drake May to get to 20 over CJ Stroud, so I'll lay the 3 with Houston. And then the Chicago Bears. I know it's going to come as a shock to you. Thrilled that I got back to 4.5 today. I could talk to you about the Rams defense, allowing 28 a game. We've been talking about that since Thanksgiving. Their defense has not been good. I could talk to you about the cold. I could talk to you about the crowd. I could talk to you about magic. But honestly, Nick, you can make some of the rules for the regulation. But on the OT,
What is this?
this video lives.
What is
Sorry,
this?
I'm not betting against him.
Oh,
I'm not.
Great video.
It's great. It's a great video. You think I'm betting against that guy?
I like that.
Salt Bay.
Yeah, a little salt
But
bay
with
with
cheese,
cheese,
but with
little
cheese.
cheese bay.
I like that.
Yeah, that video lives. Caleb's. I cannot wait to see how he celebrates on the Sunday Night Football post game this week against the Rams. 4-0? What do you think?
2-2.
2-2 at best.
You're gonna get Bills and Pats right. Seahawks.
Oh,
and
the ones
Bears
that we were
wrong.
aligned
Exactly.
on.
I think
Oh, wow.
this seems like 4-0 to me. This seems like 4-0. I think you did it.
You and I are back.
I think you did it.
Welcome back to the OT. We got Greg Jennings and Willie Colon hanging out. San Francisco on the road. They're 7-point underdogs. They're banged up. They're going to Seattle. And as per their reputation, it's going to be loud. So Kyle Shanahan was asked how quarterback Brock Purdy will handle the noise and the element. Greg, how confident should the Niners be in Purdy here?
Look, they should be very confident. Everything that Kyle Shanahan is absolutely spot on. When we looked at Brock Purdy last year and he was without a lot of his skill guys, you know, we felt like, man, was it Brock Purdy's fault that they didn't get over the hump? Could he be, in coaches' terms, a force multiplier? He wasn't last year. This year, it's been different. They've been without a lot of guys in the lineup, and he's been steady. He's been really good. He's been one of those guys that's been in and out of the lineup. And when he's been available, he's been money good. So I really like the 49ers in this situation because it's a familiar opponent. I'm not picking them to win. But you should have a lot of confidence if you're Brock Purdy, a team that you've seen twice. You have a head coach and offensive mind that understands, man, when I see a defense a couple times, give me a third crack at them, we're going to have some wrinkles. We just have to execute when the opportunities present themselves. Playing against a sound defense, a stout defense, they're stingy. So he has his work cut out for him, but they should be really confident.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's like my dad's minivan. It's not flashy, a little dinged up, but it's going to get you home, right? And so, and you understand he also lives rent-free in the 12th man's head, being 4-0 in Seattle. So, you know, he has that with him also. But they get their muscle back. They get Trent Williams back this game, which was huge because in Week 18, they gave up 3 sacks in that game. And I talked about that last hit he took in that game. I thought they broke him in half. So with that, they also showed up the protection because their center now is calling the protection. And now you're talking about Juan Jennings being one of his main targets on third down. With everything around him, I expect him to be that guy. I expect him to be inefficient. Now, to Greg's point, I have more faith in the Seattle Seahawks defense. If they don't allow him to cook in the middle of the field, man, it's going to be a long day for Brock. But he's been able to do it thus far.
Yeah, this would be a wildly impressive win.
It would be.
Because we've seen him in a Super Bowl. We've seen him put up massive numbers. In terms of just, they are banged up. They are injured. Right. They lose Kittle last week. Seattle is rested. Seattle's at home. I've talked with you guys this week. I talked about it with you after that game in Week 18. That Week 18 game is one of my favorite games in the NFL all season. Like all NFL games are physical. It jumped off the screen. And I had never seen the Niners with Kyle Shanahan look like that. Because it was literally the worst offensive game that San Francisco had played in that Week 18 game. Like, look at what Purdy has been this year since he came back from injury. That's the column on the right.
Right.
They were the best offense in football.
Yeah.
Now, that's not a huge sample post Week 11, and then I'm taking out one game, so it's not a huge sample, but it's not 2 games. Like, they were the best offense in football. But in that game against Seattle, it's like, it's the worst game Christian McCaffrey's had as a Niner.
Yeah.
It's the fewest yards they've had since Kyle Shanahan's been there. It's tied for the fewest points. So, confidence in Purdy is fine, but confidence in Purdy in this spot against this team, I don't know. I saw it 2 weeks ago and it looked ugly.
So one thing to note, when you know there's a possible chance of you playing a team for the 3rd time in the postseason, you go into that last game, I get a lot was on the line.
Yeah, the one seed.
A lot was on the line. However, you pretty much have a feeling, man, we might have to see this team in the playoffs at some point.
You think they held something back in that game?
You can't show everything.
With the 1 seed on the line?
You can't show everything.
But look what Greg is saying. You know, even with this game, we're going to the playoffs. You feel like we have everything we need to hopefully beat the Eagles. You do beat the Eagles, but now you're saying we know who Seattle is. We got a little left over in the tank.
Yeah.
Valid, we don't have George Kittle, but we know schematically we can match up with anybody. So Greg's right in that.
I'm not saying there's no wrinkles, but I guess I would personally be surprised if you deliberately held something back in that spot.
Well, you see ball players do it all the time. I remember Ray Lewis and Ed Reed would talk about they would play certain coverages knowing they would play a playoff team later down the road. So when they did play them in that playoff game, they had a little something for them in that big game.
So you expect, how do you expect a high-scoring game?
No.
Okay, well,
on one side, though.
I'm saying through the prism of San Francisco, I would be very surprised if this game looked drastically different than the Week 18. I'm not saying they're going to be held to under 200 yards of total offense. Like, that's an outlier in the 8 years that Shanahan's been there. But I'd be very surprised if this game was played into the high 20s.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the same. Like, they had a wrinkle for Philly. We saw the toss sweep to the jet pass with Juwan Jennings throwing the ball to McCaffrey. We saw the gadget plays. He's going to have something, having seen this team twice, having seen this defense twice. You know you don't have a lot of time if you're Purdy. You got to create. You got to move the pocket. He's going to have something in the run game, in the pass game, a couple wrinkles that we have not seen that we're going to be looking at that TV screen this weekend saying, that was a great play.
I mean, what we're ultimately talking about, the Niners are going to be aggressive. That's what I took from the Eagles game. They realized, like, this is all or nothing. I don't think they held anything back from that standpoint because I felt, you talk about the gadget plays, you talk about Purdy using his legs more, you talk about him seeing the whole field. Now, I didn't like him throwing the pick with 8 minutes left in the game. And then, Shanahan talked about, well, he looked unwavered because he was scared, right? Sometimes when you're scared on the sideline, you can't show it because that ripples throughout the offense. I like Purdy in the big moments. He just has to play faster, and I think, we'll see what happens in Seattle.
His clock is definitely going to be sped up in this game.
What about you've gotten everything you can out of a real banged-up roster? Like Seattle is very healthy.
There's a lot of
So you're saying playing with house money?
Well, the Niners were in line for the 1 seed in Week 18. Mm-hmm. They have maybe the best offensive coach in football, not named Andy Reid. They have beaten this team this year. There's a reason they're a touchdown underdog. They are undermanned in this spot,
They are.
just on like a straight health issue. It's hard for me to imagine that this isn't the end of the road for the Niners in this spot.
It's hard for me to. It would have been hard for any of us to imagine that they would even be here.
Yeah, I picked Philly last week, so my analysis this week is pretty simple.
I'm not even talking about last week. I'm saying to get to the postseason with how banged up they are. No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, no
Well, Mac
George
Jones
Kittle.
was the X factor. He carried them midway
But
through.
but even still, like there were so many injuries. We just didn't.
It's been a remarkable performance to get this far.
Absolutely has
and it'll be
been.
one of the shocking results of the season
So
if they're able
they're
to
like,
advance to Championship Sunday.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.